Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Jez7780 for another episode of What Grinds My Gears, episode 15, Compromised. I know it's playoff time. I definitely want to go check out the basketball game. Been waiting all day. Can't wait to see it after that disaster of a first game. Can't believe what happened. J.R. Smith, my God. But anyway, so I was just browsing through the Twitter right before the game, and I saw this Reset Era article. I put it in the description, and it's really basically the first interview. It's done by MCV. Let's see who they are. Let's see who it is. It's a MCV European interview for a magazine. Digital copy is online. You can read it. Page 15 is where it starts. It's basically the first interview with Matt Booty, and speaking like as they go into E3 for the June article. And a lot of things are on there echoing Phil Spencer's kind of messaging or what's going on with the games. But he's the new first party guy, Matt Booty. Booty. And basically, there are a couple of things in this article that actually kind of fed right into my fears. And I'm not going to keep this super long. I don't expect that many people to be in the chat because I know it's prime time on a Sunday night, and basketball time. So just want to get this out there, and I'll probably be speaking more about it later on in the week. Who knows? But I'll share my screen here for a second and just kind of point out what is kind of stuff that really it just and I took some screenshots. I tweeted out on my my Twitter, Jez7780. And a couple of things. I think one of the biggest quotes that got pulled out of this thing that I've seen floating around is this one, where he states that it's really difficult for anybody to think about making AAA games these days without having in mind a content and a service plan that goes 1 to 2 years in the future. And he actually details that, saying, there'll always be single player games with, and this is quote, single player games with maybe 20 to 30 hours of gameplay. We love those games, and there's a place for those. But there's also certainly a case to focus on watching, streaming, broadcast, and esports. And it's really important to think about longevity of a game. And that's where he goes into it. It's difficult for anybody to think about making a AAA game without having content and a service plan. And you see from my tweet, just make a good friggin' game, and that stuff will come around. They did not build, and I'm going to have to use this example, everybody, but God of War. They did not build God of War going, oh, this game's going to be streamed like crazy. No, it is one of the most popular games now watched on YouTube. But that game wasn't built for that. Like, look what happened to Evolve, speaking about a game, which was thrown and shoved down our throats as an esports game. When they presented it, they had some two bozo guys going like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, look at it, headshot, oh, there goes the monster. And it was just so forced and so stupid. And it really, that stuff has to evolve, pun intended, evolve. Those things need to happen. You can't just unless you're making a special broadcast game that it's a broadcast. I don't know, but you can't just make these games and force them down people's throats as an esports game. And they kind of did it too with Sea of Thieves when they presented it. They didn't talk about the game itself and the content and all that. Instead, they had 4 or 5 people randomly playing it, yelling and screaming in a microphone. And people are just like, well, what is this? Why are they having fun? Like, is this fun? What are they supposed to do? Oh, they're drinking. Oh, that's funny. On the boat. And it really was, again, it was a forced kind of presentation that, oh, this is going to be a streaming game and a party game. You can't build the game for the services. Like, the games are going to be compromised. And that is my whole problem with Microsoft's bullshit of going to PC, mobile, streaming, mixer, esports. All that bullshit is that the game is going to suffer in the long run. Instead of just making a solid excellent, strong game. Like when Halo was created, it wasn't being like, oh, this is going to be an esports game. Esports never existed. It wasn't as where it is now. So, like, you make a great game and it will evolve into those. But the fact that that's part of your long term plan concerns me because I'm thinking that you're making games for those services rather than making a damn good game. And we have two perfect examples of them. Three perfect examples of them is the broken ass PUBG, the broken ass State of K2, and Sea of Thieves, which had no friggin' content in it, but it was a streaming game. Oh, they thought there was going to be streaming. So the thing is like, I understand you want to measure engagement, but you should not compromise the games. The games, you should have your studios focus on the game itself, making sure that the game is polished, making sure that the frame rates are there, making sure the content is present, making sure that it is fun, making sure your online works, making sure you have a deep story if it's a narrative driven game, make sure you have characters that people connect with, make sure that you have, the ability to have multiplayer and it works and cross. Make sure the game is good before you worry whether it's going to be esports or good popular on Mixer or of those things. Like, the fact that you mix that bullshit in your game development is probably one of the reasons why we have these games coming out half-ass, and secondly, why we probably have no games coming out, and probably thirdly, why E3 is going to fucking suck. It's because they are putting too much of this there, and I said this on my last show. The games, they are using the games as methods, and he says it in here as well. Like, he says it that, and of course, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm fucking sick of Minecraft being the de facto game that Microsoft talks about every fucking time. They basically go, well, look at the Minecraft model. Minecraft was everywhere before Microsoft even did anything. That's probably the reason why Microsoft bought them. It's because they were everywhere. So don't say Minecraft is a success because of what it did. It started out as an indie and went everywhere, and Microsoft just kept the lights on. So stop trying to make every one of your fucking games Minecraft. It's not going to work. And the fact that you're trying to make it work is not going to make it work even more because you're forcing it. Gamers don't want to be forced into a pigeonhole. Gamers, this is your streaming game. You're going to like it. People don't. They want to evolve. They want to discover it. They want to spread it by word of mouth. People want to evolve. It naturally happens. And he says it in here. Where does he say it? With this bullshit Minecraft shit. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. The Minecraft model. He says why he didn't pull them off. But I'm going to say, where does he say here? He says, games have become much more social, much more mainstream, much more widespread. We know that the games industry is growing, and that's taking nothing away from what you call a single-player narrative cinematic game. But we see a lot of interest from our players in more community-driven, ongoing franchises. There is your answer. So what Phil said last year when Zelda on the wings of Horizon, and what Shannon Loftus said about AAA single-player games not being economically challenging, it's all here, people. It's all here. They keep saying the same shit. So you're not getting single player games from them. That is not in their model. That is they want games as a service. Games as a service. And you want to know what? They're fucking failing at games as a service. That's what they don't even know what a games as a service is. They don't even know. They think that shipping a Sea of Thieves with 3 mission types, and we're just going to have 5 teams just deliver different monsters later on in each month. That's a service game. You give us bare bones, charge $60, and then you basically say, well, we'll add more content on the way. So you're basically taking out the stuff and just trickling it in. And I'm going to tell you, My biggest fear, and I said it on today's on the chat, Iron Laws podcast. Shout out to those guys. That was a great show with Tim Dog and Rand. The thing is that can't wait. I can't wait to see what Halo is, Halo 6, and what Forza Horizon 4 is. And I'm a little nervous because we haven't even seen a tease of Horizon 4. They didn't even tease it, which makes me think, is it going to be a full Forza Horizon complete game? Or is it going to be a section of it or 100 cars up front, and we'll add more as the months go on for free? Now that's a service game. It's not, you'll charge us $60, but instead of having 300 cars at launch, we'll have 100, and then the rest will just come along the line. We're going to trickle in the content of Forza Horizon. And before I get off my screen share here, one of the biggest things, and this is kind of leading into that, is the strength of their franchises, Halo, Forza, and Minecraft. That strength lets us branch out and take risks with them, possibly dropping a hint that from the next studios will make it clear, even if the company announces a new Halo, much like the campaignless Black Ops 4, it may not exactly resemble its predecessors. But that should be applauded, as turning out games slavishly based on the templates of last gen doesn't do anyone favors. Oh my God. So that's where I was like, it's true. It's true. It's damn true. Yo, what's up, man? Yeah. So basically, it's right there and then. So just the fact that they got our next games or whatever's coming out of these games, the fact that they got these games coming out, the Halo, these games are not, and they'll take risks, which, we're hearing the Gears kind of XCOM type game and things like this. We're hearing about risks, but the thing is that these games, all these games coming out of Microsoft Studios, not talking about third party, but whatever Microsoft has their grubby hands on right now is going to be compromised. The game is going to have that dirty Microsoft corporation hands on it. I know, man. I had to just talk about it right now because I saw it. I know it's basketball time. That's why I was going to keep this short. I'll probably do another one tomorrow. But I just wanted to point out that article. You guys should read it. But my God, like, I just saw that thing and I'm like, I work tomorrow. I was like, let me get this thing out now. And, hopefully just share it out. And, we'll hear people go watch it when they want to watch it after basketball. But, yeah, I'm going to jump onto the basketball too. But the thing is that my biggest fear of this whole initiative by Microsoft is basically laying right there in black and white with Matt Booty at the helm saying how this service model is going to dominate what Microsoft puts out. Games as a service, Game Pass, the games are going to be compromised. Just like how I feel like the games are compromised when they're on PC, when in the sense they're not focused on Xbox. Like, look at how God of War was built. Look at what Nintendo does with Zelda. When you have focused hardware, you make games built for that hardware. When you have to deal with other platforms outside of the console, you have to compromise. You have to make the game playable on multiple consoles. PC, all those configurations. It has to be an adaptable type game. It cannot be targeted for 6 teraflops. It has to be targeted for the gamut, the S, the X, and Windows 10, whatever the hell configurations you have. That's what I'm talking about, is that those games have to be compromised. And same thing when Game Pass was launched. As soon as Game Pass was launched, I'm like, that's neat. But when they said first party's going in there, I was like, oh no, what are those games going to look like now? We're not getting the traditional Halo 6 is the Halo 5 or Halo 3 model. Halo 6 is going to be a thing of its own. Who the hell knows? Is multiplayer going to come out first and single player come out down the line? What happens? Single player comes out in September. Multiplayer comes out in January. Who the hell knows? But these games, Microsoft's going to find a way to trickle out the content and milk these games, and these games will be compromised. They won't be the $60 sealed package God of War masterpiece or Zelda masterpiece or Horizon Zero Dawn or even what we used to have in Gears of War 4 and Gears of War and Halo 5 and Rise and the traditional, here's your game, Here's the DLC. Let's do this. No, these games are going to be fed to you piecemeal, Sea of Thieves style, or given to you like a friggin' mobile game, free to play, but here's a whole, like, when I speak compromise, think about your mobile games. Go on your phone and download a free game. Download one of those fighting games like, the Marvel game or the Power Rangers game, and look at the amount of clicking. They have a tutorial to show you how to buy stuff. Upgrades. You have a timeout. You only could have a certain, wait a day and then you'll get more stars so then you can play. That's where I'd be my compromise. They are going to put in mechanisms or game design mechanisms to make these games more of a service game. And my problem I have is, instead of Microsoft going to the drawing board and going, let's build some service games, but let's also include traditional games, I'm finding that they keep talking more and more and more and going full on, full house, balls deep in services. And they don't have the content. We know that. We know they don't have the content. And basically, with there in that article, it was basically saying, it goes on and on about it. And they're already compromised, right, Dan? They're already compromised. These games, you just look at what we're getting. Since Game Pass has come out, those games are not what boggles my mind is how the hell the State of Decay 2 gets destroyed in reviews about its bad frame rates and bad things. And then a 20 gigabyte patch comes out over this weekend, like a week and a half later, and apparently fixes it on the Xbox, but now apparently on the PC, it doesn't work that as well as it used to. Why? What the hell? Why would Microsoft do that? Why would they make State of Decay 2 come out in a broken state, get destroyed in reviews? Meanwhile, a patch comes out, a 20 gigabyte patch comes out a week and a half later and fixes a lot of the complaints. Nobody's going back to re-review it. But what the hell's wrong with them? Why would you release that? It's not like you're getting it in for a fiscal year or for a holiday. It wasn't like the end of March. Why would you do that? Because Microsoft don't give a shit. Like I said in the last podcast, they don't care. Dump it in Game Pass and we'll fix it later. PUBG, what are they on? Patch 16? And they got patch 16 they're up to or some shit like that. Who the hell wants to buy something and beta test the shit and say that's not a service game? That's what you don't understand. Those are not service games, and Microsoft don't know what the fuck a service game is. Because they don't know. They just like the idea of Minecraft and think yeah, let's do a Minecraft with everybody. But they don't have the concept. These games are not built from the ground up as service-based games. These games are being shoehorned into a service model. But you don't just dump a game out there and go, oh, we'll fix it later. That's not games as a service. That's a game that deserves an apology. Sorry for releasing that shit. Sorry, subscribers of Game Pass. We didn't mean to put that incomplete game in Game Pass. More's coming down the line. That's not a service game. A service game is a complete game. Hence, look at Fortnite. Fortnite came out and they're on season 4 and season 5, or Rainbow Six, or Ghost Recon. Look at what Ubisoft does. Those are service games with a roadmap, season 3, adding more content, but they had a solid game to begin with. The game maybe, I know Rainbow Six, though, is a little lacking on content, but Ghost Recon wasn't. But they've been following that service-based model, season 2, season 3. They've been doing also For Honor, too. For Honor had wonky, they even added the service to it. But the thing is that the games were decent and they were okay. They weren't getting dismantled at 60s and stuff like that because of frame rates and stuff. These games, Ubisoft has a model for a service. They're adding, they're evolving the game. Where Microsoft is fixing the games because they should be better at there. And yeah, Daniel says Microsoft's ambition to reach 2 billion people across all devices will compromise. Exactly, Daniel. That's exactly the whole point of this whole thing. Why do you think, and this is the other thing, I know people are excited that Microsoft's on Fuse or FM or something like that, and they're broadcasting it now over TV and stuff like that. That's not exciting for me because you want to know why? I think that means this is going to be a kind of a casual show. This show is not going to be for the hardcore. This is going to be a much broad spectrum kind of Microsoft's vision of gaming and being everywhere. And if you continue reading on that article, I don't want to keep it up there and read through the whole article. on the stream. But if you keep going on there, he basically explains how they want to be on any platform. They're platform agnostic. They sound like a third-party developer. Basically, they just want people to use their engine, their tools, almost like an Epic. Like, use our engine, use our tools. They don't have an engine, but like, use our stuff to make games, and we want to touch you everywhere. Like, we want to reach you wherever you are. They don't care. They want to be on the Switch. They don't care anymore. And you want to know what? My point is that why? Why do we still fight for Xbox? They're not buying any exclusives. They're not shutting down studios, and they're not buying studios up and grabbing exclusives from Sony and getting content. Those days are over. Those days are over. And for the people that still believe that, it's going to take a more, you have a higher threshold than I do. Because I knew when Microsoft came out and announced $500 X, they were not in the console business anymore. And I said it last year before E3. I said the way they announced that console X, if it's $400, they want to remain competitive. They're aware of the Pro and want to be competitive with the Pro and are serious about the console space. If they outprice it at $500, Microsoft cares more about being everywhere else besides console, and that's what they did. Phil went out there after getting laughed off the stage or just silence and crickets for the first E3 in 2013, announcing $500 console, went out there and said it again. You don't learn. And that's the thing. Why do they need a console? Their console now, the Xbox console, might as well be called PC box for the TV. Because that's all it is. It's the reason why the console exists now, I'm convinced, is just to reach the customers that want to play or want to use the TV. It's for Microsoft TV customers. That's what the Xbox is for. It is not a gaming platform. It is not a console for games where gamers go to play games. It is a mechanism for Microsoft to reach people who want to use TV. That's what the Xbox exists for now solely. It's for that Microsoft customer that wants to use TV, and Microsoft, in order to reach the TV living room customer, they need to have an Xbox. And they feel that that is all they need to do. They do not need to now pay exclusive content because they are not there for the Xbox brand or the Xbox platform as a gaming system, as Nintendo believes into it, as Sony believes into the PlayStation. So you're going to get traditional experiences from Sony and Nintendo, and Microsoft is going to be out on left field doing whatever the hell bullshit it's going to do. What about the Zune? The Xbox is going to be a new Zune. Xbox is going to be the new Windows Phone. Basically, like, Windows Phone had exclusive Office and its own apps and all that stuff. And now Windows Phone is gone. And now what they did is they put Office and everything on Android and iOS. And that's what Xbox is going to be. And Xbox Pass, Game Pass, they'll have their publishers. And he even says it in that article too. Booty says it. Booty. What's up, man, Burgundy? And he says it again. He says it in there in the fact that he goes, we are going to basically, now I forgot what he just said. He says it on the third page. I think on the third page of the article, he basically goes that we are, they want to put it on all platforms. Like they want to do platform agnostic, but basically there's a whole section that says beyond the Xbox, beyond the console. And that's what they want to do. And that's the thing. Like, they want to, they want to be beyond the console. They don't see success. Whatever 29 million it is or whatever it is, they don't see success on that. But what I was going to say is that my whole rant about this thing is that I was with Xbox, I jumped from a GameCube to an Xbox, and they had to prove themselves that they belonged in the console space against PlayStation and Nintendo. And the fact that the 360 was there to be the brand and made the Xbox independent of Microsoft. Like, you didn't even realize it was a Microsoft product. There were a couple of things where they wanted to use Xbox Live on PC and all that other stuff, but it was an independent product. Like, it wasn't like the Office kind of seriousness. It was the fun thing. People got to do crazy stuff, and they were taking it to Sony. And we came full circle, and they basically are just fading this shit out back. And they're throwing too much Windows, Windows 10, too much services. And I know I'm gonna blame Phil. Like I know everybody was rating Phil today. You know, it's Satya. Satya doesn't believe in gaming the way Ballmer was a competitive person. He wanted to dominate in everything that Microsoft touched. And Satya is not that way. He's sort of like, we can't win every single battle, so we just got to be everywhere. And whenever somebody goes, we got to focus on the person because they're all over the place, rather than giving them the actual the thing. Like, instead of giving them the device, we want to just focus on the person wherever they are. And the thing is that nobody's doing that. Nobody's doing that. Like, Google's not doing that. Apple's not doing that. Like, look at Apple and the iPad and the Mac. Everybody's like, just make a friggin' iPad laptop. Apple's not doing it because there is a market for an iPad and there's a market for a Mac. And you're going to buy both if you want both. You're going to buy our hardware there and you're going to buy hardware there. We're not going to do what Windows does and say, oh, you want a tablet and then it's going to switch to this and does this. No, people don't want all that bullshit. It's so confusing. There's two different browsers. There was the web browser. There was the touch browser. People don't want that complex shit. People want, there's my iPad for touching and there's my MacBook for computer work. Oh, and I can put keyboards on my iPad if I want to be fancy. But Apple didn't combine them. And Apple has Pages and all their applications, their Office applications. They're not on a Windows 10 device. Their Office applications, Pages and everything, Presents, it's all on Mac. You can't, but Office is damn on fucking Office is on Mac. But Microsoft don't. The thing is like nobody else is doing it. Google and Amazon fight back and forth. Like if you have an Amazon Fire Stick, you can't stream the Google app. They took it off because of not selling the Nest on Amazon.com and Google Home because it competes with Alexa. They battled it out of the holiday. There was a friggin' pop-up on my Amazon Fire. And now I got to use Silk browser to use YouTube on the Amazon Fire because YouTube pulled its native app. Everybody has exclusives. Everybody has a reason why you need to own the platform. Nobody's doing this Microsoft, like we want to be everywhere, do everything. Because guess what? You become the jack of all trades and master of none. And that's what they're going to become. And that's what our games are going to become. The jack of all trades and master of none. We're going to get some washed up, compromised bullshit with the franchises that we used to love. And they're going to be compromised and adjusted and handed out in a way to support a service model. And that is going to be it. Just like how Fortnite model, just look at different models of things. And that's what Microsoft's going to try to do with their Halo and the Gears, because that's all the only franchises that they have. And the thing is, I want to say, I don't care about the next Xbox because the next Xbox is just, again, I'm not buying the next Xbox because I've seen what the fuckery they did with this Xbox. I'm not buying it. And I'm not buying into all their bullshit that they say, like, oh, remember, God, there's so much bullshit that they've reversed, like Xbox Fitness, Connect, Project Spark. You go back and watch some of those old E3s and listen to the bullshit that came out of them. Oh my goodness, about Connect, and they got rid of that. And just this week, they got rid of Kudo's team because, they trotted HoloLens out there when everybody's talking VR, and they're like, oh, we got AR and all this other stuff. Well, Kudo, the guy who presented Connect and who made the boxing games for EA, his team is gone. They got rid of him. He's still around, fluttering around Microsoft. They fired Laura Massey, who was part of the Major Nelson podcast for over since the beginning. I know she wasn't there at the beginning. She came on later on, and she was developer and she moved on to HoloLens a few years ago. She was there for 11 years. She got let go. She's not on Major Nelson's podcast anymore. She said goodbye and all that other stuff. And HoloLens, it's garbage. It's $3,000 still in developmental kit. They have nothing, going on. And they shove HoloLens on. They had the nerve to put that shit on E3 stage again using Minecraft again, because Minecraft is the only thing that they could hang a hat on. They didn't even create that shit. Instead of trying to come up with the next Minecraft, Microsoft just keeps milking Minecraft. And who the hell knows, man? I see you guys talking about Gears. you know, all our games, the games that we know and love from Microsoft, the franchises, as long in the tooth as they were getting, they're going to be adjusted, compromised for this service-based model. And Booty is like that. He said it in that article, and that's all I needed. And those games are going to change. And we'll see if it changes for the better. But, their track record so far is I don't think they know what the hell a service game is. And my last point to this, I'm going to get to the, go check out the basketball game. But, my last point to this is that if the video game industry was struggling, if PlayStation and Nintendo were not seeing the success, and another mention, I think for the month of May, Nintendo Switch had surpassed market share of the Xbox for the month of May in Europe. I believe it's in Europe. But for the month of May, they surpassed the market share. So that's it. Now we're just waiting for the US. Probably by the end of this year with Pokemon, Smash Brothers. It's a matter of time. Xbox is going to be the third. The Switch is going to surpass it. And it's going to be PlayStation, Switch, and Microsoft's going to be left lonely talking about service-based games and the bullshit that they're going to do. And that's what you do. You try to change the narrative, but they're too weak. They're too weak. They're too low of an install base to even change the narrative, to have any influence on developers or anything like that. Microsoft is just too weak. And that was always been my problem. Before I go on this last point, what's always been my problem is that they need to remain competitive in the console space for mind share. They needed to be aggressive with pricing for mind share. Because when you're at 29 million and a console that came out 2 or 3 years after you is going to pass you up, and then Sony is at 90 million or whatever like that, you could release the best feature in the world, and developers are not going to give you time of day because their install base is going so small. Microsoft's so they're trying to kind of get developers to entice them to say, well, put it on PC. There's a lot over there, and then we could just put it over to Xbox or something like that. They're not going to get developers to do anything with it. That's why the 360 was dominating, because they had that year jump, and developers already started developing for the 360, and nobody really wanted to take time and work on PlayStation at their challenging sell process as they were getting larger and they were small install base. And Microsoft was at 10 million when PlayStation launched, PlayStation 3. So they had a 10 million buffer that people are already developing for. Games are already in the works. So this generation, Microsoft's down to oblivion. They're not going to get developer things, just like Windows Phone. Windows Phone, they could not get developer interest. I heard at DICE, and Tom Warren from The Verge was like, yo, this is the worst DICE conference ever. It was so boring. Google is more exciting. That he went to the first 30 minutes of Microsoft's 6 hours of DICE, the developer conference for Microsoft, because, or was it DICE? No, it wasn't DICE. I'm sorry. It was the Microsoft Build. It was Microsoft's Build, their developer conference. But Google's going after the consumer. They got consumer grade. Microsoft's not going after, they're going after cloud and enterprise. And they're hoping the consumer will just be in the background somewhere. They'll reach them out with some bogus tools. And now they're going to buy GitHub right now for $2 billion or something like that, which is basically like the LinkedIn for developers. They're trying to buy their developers now because nobody wants to fucking work with them because they're so small in install base. Thanks, man. I know I gotta turn on to that. I gotta turn on to that basketball, but like, it's just, I'm just raging right now about that my Matt Booty article, because it's not like it's a surprise, and I don't want people to be like, oh, why are you surprised? I'm not surprised about it, but what it stated was what my greatest fears were that the next Halo and Gears and those games are going to be risky. They're going to take risks because they're trying to focus on the service-based model, and our games that we know are going to be compromised to fit into this bullshit service model. Instead of them trying to think from the ground up and actually making a good game, they're more concerned if it's going to get streamed or if it's going to be part of esports. And because of all this bullshit, that's the problem that I have with this. And that was my fear when they announced Game Pass, and that was my fear when they announced all this other service-based bullshit, is that our games are going to suffer, and they have. That's the reason why we have no games. That's the reason why the games we're getting are bull. And a games as a service, like I said before, is not a game that's half done and you're going to ship the rest of it later on. That's no fucking service. So they better get their shit together. And I think E3 is going to be a bunch of third party and indie stuff and Game Pass launch bullshit. And I don't think their first party is going to deliver. And I think when they do their first party, it's not going to be the first party that we know and love. And I think people believing that they're going to buy up studios and they're going to take this and make some drop the mic moments. That Microsoft is gone. We need to get Satya out of there. Phil has to do whatever he has to do. Booty's just drinking the Kool-Aid. They're all done. Kudos team is gone. HoloLens, all that bullshit, that's gone too. Kudos team is gone. Laura Massey got fired. Albert Pinello, the hardware guy, is gone. He was the real talker at E3. He was the reason why I got an Xbox One, because I was all like, holy shit, what's going on with Xbox? Everybody hates it. Everybody hates it. And Pinello came out there and goes, this is the long-term battle. This is a long-term battle. This is not a sprint. We're in it for the long haul. The Xbox has power under its hood. That ESRAM is going to be turned out to be all bullshit. But again, if you look at that article from Booty, and I linked it into the thing, talking the same bullshit. Oh, you can't make a AAA game without a 2-year plan of content and streaming or some bullshit like that. Like, what? God of War, yeah, it might have a DLC, but just make a good game. You gotta make your developers make a good game. Put the money, put the funding. You need to play test it. You need to beta test you, and don't give me no bullshit betas. But you gotta make a good game, and it will happen. God of War is dominating YouTube viewership now. It's not because it was built as a streaming game or it was built as an esports bullshit. It's because it's an excellent game. You make an excellent game, the gamers will come. Microsoft, for some reason, and some people out there have lost that vision. And that's all I have been ranting about since the beginning of this fucking channel. Just where are the good games? Why is Gears of War 4 have the big evolution of Gears of War 4 was the fucking burn cards, the cards. Yeah, we put cards in there for boosts and stuff. I don't give a shit about the cards. Where is my fucking environmental kills and amazing stuff? Avalanches coming down. Where's my evolution of Gears of War? Why is it ho-hum bullshit Gears of War from the first one that feels as less features than the previous 3 and 2 games? They pulled the fucking EA Madden 13 or whatever like that. Remember when the 360 when the 360 launched? And like the 360 version was fully featured with franchises and stuff. And meanwhile, the Xbox One version was like, good luck if you had a fucking season in it. Like it went backwards. Like that's basically Gears of War when it went backward. Like it was like, oh yeah, well, we're going back to the Gears of War 1 feature set. Like where is the evolution? Look what happened, how God of War evolved. Where is our evolution of our franchises? Like, why do they feel like they're just cash-ins? Like, Halo 5 Warzone was the only glimpse that I've seen of Microsoft trying to move the needle and trying to evolve and doing something that maybe you could do with dedicated servers or do with their franchise. Oh, Daniel B. I put the link in the chat and the Coon 1985. I put link in the chat. It's Matt Booty's interview. He had an interview right before E3, and you know, if you go to my Twitter, I took some screenshots of it. But basically in there, he's saying about the big quote was the AAA games coming out of there, and you know how AAA games need to have this like 2-year vision, and they basically need to have. And single player basically kind of washes like, oh yeah, I like single player, but you can't take away the streaming and the esports and all this other bullshit from these games. And it's like, look what happened to Evolve. It was forced as that become an esports game, and they tried to present that as an esports. Shit, what was the other game that Microsoft? Oh yeah, that other game, Darwin Project, an indie game. Basically, they presented it with those fucking esports shoutcast guys. Like, shut up. Make me decide whether this game should be like, let the community decide whether this should be an esports game. If a competitive market comes forth from that game, let it evolve. But don't have bullshit shoutcasters out there going like, look at him shooting, because it undermines the game. And you take a game that might have potential and you basically just ruin it because you're basically forcing saying this will be an esports game. And it isn't. Booty basically is just drinking the juice. He's drinking that booty juice. He's drinking the juice, that guy. He basically echoed everything that Phil said in I'll tell you exactly. Like, he basically echoed what did he say? He says that yeah, there will always be single player games, maybe 20 to 30 hours of gameplay. We love those games. He doesn't say we are interested in making those games. He's just like, we love them. There's a place for those, but it's also certainly the case to focusing on watching, streaming, broadcast, and esports. So let me ask everybody, you bought a $500 console to watch, to broadcast, to load up an esports app? Like, what the fuck are they? Who are they targeting? Who are they going to? Who? And how? How do you make a game and worry about that shit? Like, look what they did with Sea of Thieves. Like I said, like, they had a bunch of fucking idiots jumping around, yelling and screaming. We didn't even know what the hell the game was, but it looked like, oh, look, these people are having fun. Look, it's going to be a streaming game. Everybody's screaming and yelling. Like, the fuck out of here. And he says here, and this is the big quote that you're going to see fluttering around probably Twitter tonight and tomorrow. It's really difficult for anybody to think about making a large-scale AAA game these days without having in mind a content and service plan that goes 1 to 2 years into the future out of the gate. You say that fucking statement on the heels of God of War, Detroit, Horizon Zero Dawn, Zelda, The Witch. Like, you, excuse me, like, I understand you have a content for like future content of expansions and stuff, not content like Sea of Thieves where, oh shit, here's 3 missions. Well, we're gonna have 4 teams now start rotating and putting fucking different things in the ocean now, like fish. We're gonna add fish to the ocean. But where your head is so far up your ass, like, you think that they're gonna come out on stage, Booty and this other fucking guy from that other place that they just hired, and they're gonna release a AAA solid game, and it's not gonna be loaded with bullshit? That's my problem. Every single thing that comes out of Microsoft right now is bullshit. Just make a friggin' game. Why is it so hard? The Crackdown bullshit, the Sea of Thieves bullshit, the PUBG bullshit, the State of Decay 2 bullshit. Like I said, you release that game and then a week and a half later, a 20 gigabyte catch comes out and kind of fixes a lot of the critics' things. Like, you didn't see that before. Fuck, they ran a PC and Xbox beta the week before that game came out. But a 20 gigabyte patch comes out, those scores still at 67, 68. Nobody's going back to review it. You just fucking killed that game. They are fucking idiots. They are clueless. They can smirk and smile and tweet all they want. You're watching the NBA Finals right now. Tell me how many PlayStation commercials you've seen. I've seen tons. Walking Dead is sponsored. The previews of the next episode is brought to you by Microsoft, and all they show is fucking Surface ads. Of not even Surface. Basically, that fucking guy on stage telling you you could create, you could do this, you could do that. But not one damn, hey, State of Decay 2 zombie game coming out in a month and a half, guys. Where they're gone. And no matter how much ranting I do and how angry I get, it's over. It's over, people. It's over. They got, I said, the previous one, they need a Thanos snap. They got to get them all out of there. We need to get some new blood in there. We need to get somebody that knows about competition and could be ruthless. That we need somebody. We don't need the peacemaker. We don't need the person like that, because guess what? You'll be a jack of all trades and master of none. And this goes to my final point. If Sony and Nintendo and the gaming industry, the console market was struggling, guys, the consoles are not selling. The PlayStation not selling. The Xbox is struggling. If everybody's at 29 million after 5 years, I would say, shit, the gaming industry needs to change it up. Maybe Microsoft has something. But you can't say that, because the Switch, even coming out at the time it did, only a year and a few months ago, is dominating and showing success in the games, because the exclusives, everybody's doing what they do. Microsoft didn't even learn this when they announced that's why they got killed in 2013. Their console did everything but play fucking games. They emphasized on TV and Connect and fitness and heartbeat sensors and all this other stuff, and the games took a back seat, and people noticed that. And Sony was like, hey, this is how you trade a game. Microsoft was like, well, you might have to take it into GameStop, and they'll have to scan your disc and give you back your DRM code, and then they'll take it from you. And people like, I just want to give my game to my friend. And Sony made that simplistic video and won the fucking generation. And we're coming back to it again. Sony had the sharing button. Sony's just dropping games. Nintendo is dropping games. Microsoft's here fucking doing what I don't know what the fuck. They're talking out their ass. You're at 29, 30 million consoles, and you're talking about reaching 2 billion people? You better stand on the corner of a fucking busy street and hand out Game Pass passes, because that's the only way you're going to reach out to them. I don't know. Well, like, you better fucking think otherwise, because you're reaching for straws. You're grasping at straws right there. But Nintendo and Sony are doing everything traditional and is showing huge success. Huge. Not like 40 million. Sony's going to have the best generation beyond the PlayStation 2. Potentially. And if they roll all those customers into the PlayStation 5, Microsoft's not going to have a fucking next gen. Their next gen is going to be a fucking thumbstick that says, here's your Xbox. You're going to get it. It's going to be a little thumbstick. And it's going to be, here's your Xbox. It's going to be a little streaming stick. That's going to be in the next console, because they're going to be out of it. They'll be like, oh, well, we got to reach our TV customers. I'll sell them a thumbstick. Let them fucking stream on games. And they'll sell you a fucking $100 thumbstick, and you'll plug it in your TV, the Xbox. Good enjoy. And you'll play all the games that you can play everywhere else, and PlayStation and Switch and all the other shit. The games as a service model is not a broken model, but you need to be smart and you need to develop it. And that's the thing that they're not doing. They're trying to take their traditional franchises and shoehorn them into a service model, because they cannot. And they say it in this article, triple A money and budgets and let me see. Open-ended games and experiences and sharing games. And that's why there's like no tutorials. Let people figure it out and stream, and everybody laughs. That's like, that's kind of where they're coming from. I want to see where he said it. Here it is. With games being as large as they are, with the move, this is a quote, with the move to games as an ongoing service, in your camp, nobody else is fucking doing it. It is difficult to pivot quickly and try to chase after trends that might happen even on the scale of a year. And he's probably talking about single player games. In business terms, a year can be a long time, but development time, there's 3 and 4 years. We've got to get our strategic long-term bets, our game development cycles, and things our players like to do in sync. And that will set us up for success. So I agree. You got to get your shit together and get your gaming development cycles in line with the players like. So what Microsoft is trying to do with this service thing is targeting what they think gamers might like years from now, rather than what people want right now. So they're like, well, they'll like this service game. Like they'll like Sea of Thieves 2 years from now when we have like 7 or 15 creatures in the ocean. Like, nobody's revisiting Sea of Thieves 2 years from now. Like, that game is washed up. It's done. They're going to be playing the next games coming from their other consoles because they're delivering quality content. People are not going to sit around and wait for you to figure shit out. And that's where they think that the Xbox gamer is the fucking idiot. It's a person that's just going to be like, I'll wait for you because I like green. People are smarter than that. People are not going to sit around and wait for you to get your shit together. I didn't wait. I'm not waiting. I got things going on in my life. I got things going on. I don't have time to sit and stare at a console going, it'll get games someday. Oh, that game that just came out, it'll get fixed in another few months. I'll wait. I'll just stream some YouTube right now. Or I'll just watch some Netflix now until they fix Sea of Thieves. Or State of K2 is supposed to get a patch in 2 weeks. I'm not going to play it yet. I'm just going to watch Netflix and stream some YouTube. Get the fuck out of here. Who will do that? And the thing is that if the other two were dried up, if your competition was dried up, if PC sucked and Xbox and PlayStation sucked and Nintendo sucked, all right, fine, and sit around and wait. But everybody's successful except you. And Microsoft is like putting a round peg in a square hole. They're like service. And it's like nobody else is talking fucking service, Microsoft. It's only you wackos are talking about it. So stop telling us and feeding us the bullshit of cloud and service games and all this other stuff when you don't even have a fucking feather in your hat to even stick a fucking reasonable amount. And don't tell me Minecraft. You didn't do Minecraft. Mojang did Minecraft. And you're trying to buy it up and what? Put your name to it. Sounds like what you want to do with Minecraft on the Switch. Let those guys play on Xbox servers. Well, we're just going to use them as engagement numbers. People are not stupid. Sony's not stupid. Nintendo's not stupid. Nintendo will be your best friends. And why would Nintendo do that? Because they're trying to get their network up and going. And I guarantee you, the Nintendo network, as stupid and voice chats and all that bullshit that's not there, Nintendo Switch Online is going to blow the fuck up. Nintendo could have said they could make you talk through a fucking tin can. But you'll want to play the Aces, and you're going to want to play Super Smash Brothers online. You're going to want to play Splatoon 3. You're going to want to play Mario Tennis. You're going to want to play Metroid if they have it. You're going to want to play their games online. And if you got to pay $20 a year to play their games online, fuck, they're going to do it because they got the games. Holy shit. Fucking Mario Tennis has a tournament mode that I wish was in every fucking fighter. You think Microsoft would have put something like that in Killer Instinct? Oh no, but you leave it to friggin' Nintendo to put an online tournament bracket in Mario Tennis. That you basically play, you win, you move on to the next bracket. It takes that. Really. And then Fortnite on the Switch for free. Just like Top Dog said. Fortnite on the Switch, good night. PlayStation has it for free. Good night. Microsoft's still trying to fucking fix PUBG. PUBG is a fucking disaster. And it might be successful on PC, but like I said before, when people last year were going, PUBG's going to be amazing on the console, stuff like that. PUBG PC success had no relevance on what it is on Xbox because it is two different beasts. The PC is light years ahead in content and in how it runs versus the defunct PUBG on Xbox. Still in preview. So I'm telling you right now, that PUBG on Xbox was a bad deal. And Microsoft fucking packaged that game in with consoles. Like, come on. But Microsoft is feeding us this cloud bullshit, games as a service, all this stuff. We'll see with Fortnite. But Fortnite on the Switch, I don't care if it's free or not, people will play. They will. And the Switch is a different beast because the Switch, people will rebuy games on there because of the mobility of it. Nintendo thought outside the box, and now they got a console on the road. And that's what everybody gamer's dream was to have, a console on the road. Say what power you want and all this other stuff, but that is what it is. A full-fledged game, maybe not a 1080p, a 4K, or 60 frames, but it is not a dumbed down, pixelized version, featureless system on that. So, but Nintendo, outside the box thinking, PlayStation, just giving everybody what they want, traditional gaming. Microsoft is shoving this service-based game and this cloud bullshit down our face, telling us that's the future. That's not the future of gaming. That's what Microsoft wants the future to be because they're positioning themselves for that. But if you have no market leverage, like Microsoft does not have in the console gaming space, fuck what you think. Like, you could have a vision that everybody be drinking lemonade in 20 years if you're a lemonade manufacturer. But who cares? If Nintendo and Sony are dominating the console space, you could tell people whatever the hell they want to do. This is Microsoft's vision. Streaming's the future. Cloud's the future. Yeah, you hope it is because that's all you fucking got. And that's the problem I have. Microsoft is telling us what they want the future to be, and we're going to be like, oh, yes, that's the future, streaming, blah, blah, blah. And Sony's going to come out with a PlayStation 5 with amazing graphics, and Microsoft's going to be like, well, here's an app to stream some old-ass games. I'm like, no, I'm getting new experiences here on PlayStation. And as long as Sony doubling down. And know what's amazing is that Sony is saying it now. We're doubling down on our content. They know content is king. People are going to come to your Xbox. Look, if people are going to come to your PlayStation, look what God of War did with PlayStation console sales. Look what it did. Microsoft used to believe that too. Microsoft believed, Halo would sell the console. And it did. So the exclusives matter. Mario, Zelda, they sell the consoles. And those guys are going to hold on to that because that is their flesh and blood. That is what keeps them alive, those contents. And the fact that Sony is dropping new IPs like Detroit, like Horizon, and those games are getting a following, and those games are doing it, Sony's building their future because you know what? When they announce Horizon 2 on stage, your PlayStation fanboys are going to be crying, oh, it's here! Oh! Standing up, clapping, and crying. Because Sony did that for them. That's what it is. That Sony built her. Now Microsoft goes on, guys, State of K3. Is Xbox fans going to be crying in the stands? No. They're going to be like, oh, fuck, that other one was broke when it launched. I hope this one's not broke. Well, Microsoft comes on stage and goes, Sea of Thieves 2. People will be like, oh, it better have fucking more than 3 types of missions. See, so Microsoft is hurting their franchises. They're hurting them for the next iteration, for the next generation. And that's the problem that I have with them right now. And you know what? We'll see. I hope everybody's joking about E3 because if I think Microsoft doesn't address their hardcore console owner at this E3, the threshold's going to build, and you're going to get more and more people like me. They're going to be able to go fuck themselves and say, figure it out and get back to me. Because that's how I am with them now. I'm going to milk them for free on my PC. And fuck them. I'm not waiting for them. I'm enjoying my gaming. I missed out on 4 years of gaming because I was expecting Microsoft to deliver me something. And instead, they slapped me in the face and said, we're doing PC work. I'm like, oh, we're going to do VR. Oh, no, that's not happening. So they slapped me in the face and I waited around, jerked off with Kinect, jerked off with fucking this thing, doing all this bullshit, doing all that bullshit. For what? For them to kill Kinect? For them to fucking kill all their franchises? Project Spark, Fable, to killing their shit? And now you sit here and go, oh, the games are going to come? Fuck them. Who the fuck? I'm not waiting for that shit. And everybody else is dropping games. Everybody is having a grand old time. Wait for Amazon to start dropping some shit. Content is king. Content is king. Hulu has exclusive shows. Netflix has exclusive shows. Amazon Prime has exclusive shows. HBO, Stars, Showtime. Everybody got exclusives. Netflix is not sitting here going, Stranger Things 2. Everybody should watch Stranger Things 2, everybody. Everybody should see Stranger Things. Let's go put it on Hulu and let's go put it on Amazon because everybody should watch Stranger Things 2. It's all about the movie watcher. The movie watcher. They should access Stranger Things 2 wherever they are, no matter what service they're using, whether it's Hulu, Amazon, Stars, anything. They should watch Stranger Things 2. No, Netflix is like, fuck y'all, subscribe to Netflix. You want to see Stranger Things 2? We might put it out on DVD later on. But you're going to watch Stranger Things 2 on Netflix. You're going to subscribe. Game of Thrones. HBO is not sitting there going, Phil Spencer runs HBO. It's Game of Thrones. It shouldn't be about where they watch it, whether they watch it on HBO. Maybe they like Stars. Maybe they don't have access to HBO where they are. Maybe they don't subscribe. Game of Thrones should be on Showtime. It should be on. It should be on Netflix. Netflix has reach all over the place. Let's put Game of Thrones on Netflix. Phil Spencer running HBO. Because the movie watcher is important. The movie watcher. Doesn't matter where you watch it. What I'm trying to talk about, Life and Time, is that HBO holds on to Game of Thrones, that you'll subscribe to it. They're not putting that show on Showtime. They didn't put Sopranos on Showtime, on their competition. Because they know that content is king and you will subscribe for content. So if Microsoft is serious about services, if you don't have the content, and if you have the same content that your competitors have, why are you, unless you're a fanboy and love Green and love X or love Microsoft, why will you subscribe to them? And that's the problem I have. Like, Netflix is not like I'm just saying, like, everybody, The Sopranos, Coon 1985, Sopranos are what started it all. Sopranos started the whole, like, hey, HBO was just recycled bullshit. HBO was showing everybody else's movies, right? HBO was just like, yeah, it's home box office. So whatever you see in the movie theater eventually come to HBO. We're just going to watch everybody else's shit. But then when HBO started making their own show, their own series, like The Sopranos, Stars did it with Spartacus, which is amazing. Showtime did it with Dexter. Now Netflix was just recycling bullshit. And now Netflix did its own exclusive shows, exclusive stand-up comedy, exclusive series of Stranger Things. Hulu said, give me that Mindy Kaling project. Give me, what is that other show with the guy from Breaking Bad? Fuck, AMC even did it. Give us Walking Dead. What was AMC? The American Movie Channel before Walking Dead? Tell me. Before Breaking Bad. Who wanted AMC? Everybody focuses on content. And if Microsoft doesn't have the content, nobody's going to subscribe to their service. And if their service is just a bunch of other people's games, third-party games from that, putting stuff on Sony, putting stuff on PC, why are you going to subscribe to it? You're going to subscribe for the exclusive features and stuff like that. And if those exclusive games are the levels of Sea of Thieves and State of Decay 2 and PUBG and all that other bullshit and Quantum Break and on all those other kind of mediocre tiered games, and you're not taking them seriously, making Quantum Break the game that it should be, making that a game so people will cry when Quantum Break 2 is announced. Instead, now Quantum Break is dead. Sunset Overdrive 2. These games with contract deals. Just work as a contractor. They're washed up. Well, Netflix is a little different. Netflix is competing with Hulu and with Amazon. So you're not seeing Stranger Things too. Netflix had partnerships with Stars and all that other stuff. But what I'm trying to explain is that everybody has content that you'll subscribe for them. Nobody's sitting there going, well, you know what? We should put because Spartacus is on Netflix. But that's after the fact. Spartacus wasn't airing day and date on Stars and on Netflix. It's what is it? Like Syndicate TV. Syndicated TV. Yeah, let's put it on this channel now to run and make money in the background. That's fine. Microsoft's not doing that. It's day and date in their service. So I'm not talking about basically, making movies day and date on your competition. And that's the thing. But the thing is that the content brings the services and the subscriptions. And if Microsoft is going to keep spewing the bullshit of services and games as a service, they got to stop talking about it and just make a good damn game, and the rest will come. Instead of just and this is the problem that they have. They talk so much about the shit that we don't care about rather than the game itself. We know more about Crackdown as being a Game Pass launch exclusive, a launch game, than actually about the game. We knew more about Sea of Thieves. Game we heard that Game Pass of Sea of Thieves, State of K2, and Crackdown will go into Game Pass before we even knew what the hell Sea of Thieves was going to be. Same thing with State of K2. We didn't find out about State of K2 stuff until the month before. But they announced they're part of a service before we even knew about the game. Rather than selling the game and making the game the forefront of what we should be loving and going, oh my God, now it's part of a service. Oh, I'm going to sign up for that. Instead, they just threw those games in the Game Pass and said, oh, they're launching a Game Pass. Meanwhile, we just knew they were delayed from last year's E3. We didn't hear any that shut your mouth beta of Sea of Thieves that nobody could talk about, which was wonderful for marketing. And State of K2, we knew nothing about. And they kept showing it on PC before it launched on Xbox, which we see why, because it was a fucking disaster on Xbox. And they fixed it apparently a week and a half later. But the thing is that we didn't know about the games. The games were not the forefront of the conversation. It was all about how they were going to be delivered to us. Was it going to be a service game? Was it going to be a PC? Same thing with Quantum Break. Quantum Break, we knew more about. It was more sold as the first cross PC Xbox purchase game than what the hell the game was about. And you see it. You see it in the game itself, the story, the movie in the game, the gameplay. The gameplay fighting was fun, but it was kind of boring and dull. And it looks like their focus was more, hey, how do we get this to work on a PC and an Xbox cross-buy rather than the game itself? And that's what it all goes back to, is compromised games. Microsoft has their head so far up in the cloud and so far up on games as a service that the games that they are releasing and the games that they're focusing on and the games that they're greenlighting are all compromised to meet the needs of the service rather than making a great game and the services built around it. And that has been my rant, and has been the problem that I have with this whole thing, is that the games are being compromised for Microsoft to sell the services. So developers, and he says it in this article, it's somewhere in here, that they are using their games, and I'm going to leave us with this one. I'll leave you with this little quote here. I'll say, he basically says that we're putting our games out. Oh, he talks about Minecraft. You hear my Minecraft rant. We studio leaders with, he says it here. Oh, is this it? There it is. Yep, here it is. When I think about this specific role of first party, this is a quote, it's our job to lean in and be the first on the ground, first to try things out. Again, you've got a beacon or lighthouse where the things we're bringing online are great for our players and also our partners. He also says it again somewhere else, but basically, it goes along exactly what I was saying in that Microsoft is using their games as a guinea pig for the to sell the services to entice developers. That is the whole to use developers to use their tools, to use Mixer, to use Mixer streaming integration, to use the Play Anywhere, to do all this stuff. You know what? I think the Gears, and just to answer Kuhn's question, I do think that Gears 5, if it's service based, and this is the real telling, like Forza 4, Halo 6, Gears 5, if those games are the same $60 games that we like, and they're putting Game Pass, great. But if they're compromised, which basically he alludes to it in here, taking risks, and like Black Ops not having a campaign, what the fuck does that mean? He didn't. I don't think he quoted that one. I think they interpreted him, but basically that's what he's saying. Like, we'll take risks now with those games because we know people like them. And I think what goes along your lines, I think the Gears of War people that love Gears of War are going to bat an eye to it and will just like suck it up. But I think a lot of people are going to be pissed off. And I think they'll lose a lot of the install base that they have. And yeah, like they'll take risks like XCOM Gears. Like people don't want that. And maybe it'll look cool, but XCOM Gears is not going to get you back in the game. Like that, it's not getting you back. And that's not on the level of like what the other that can't even like put a light to to a Smash Brothers or to not even, I don't even talk God of War, but like to Spider-Man or something like that. Like Sony still has Spider-Man coming out. Fucking Detroit, it took everybody by surprise. I thought that everybody thought that was going to be the wash of their lineup. Detroit's incredible. That game is so, and I played Beyond Two Souls the first time, and then then playing Detroit and just seeing the choices and just the story and the character building, like it really is something that I want to just go to headquarters of Microsoft and just go, if you people really do play games, why are you not working on anything at this level? And that's where I get so confused, that there's such a dichotomy between the quality, what Sony's putting out, and what Microsoft is putting out now. That's really bad, because you could say that Sony didn't have these bangers in the beginning of generation. They were the fucking indie station. Like, who's paying $400 to go play Resogun, which is actually a good game? I played it. I was like, oh, this is not bad. But like, they had a bunch of indies on stage. They had No Man's Sky and all that other stuff. Like, they didn't have these big hits. Like, they had The Order, which was really short, which I liked it though. Like, I know it wasn't. I didn't pay. If I paid $60, I'll be like, fuck this game. But the game was. I liked the atmosphere and stuff. Infamous was really good. And I've been playing all the games and like Uncharted and all that other stuff. But before Uncharted, like Sony was like, trying, but Microsoft wasn't had those games. They had the Titanfall exclusive, they had Rise, they had Sunset Overdrive, that Forza Horizon 3, they had Halo coming out, and they were marketing Halo. And then if you go back and listen to my previous show where I talk about how Halo, like Microsoft basically after Halo 5, the Halo kind of franchise, like talk about it, has been dead. No new like Halo books, a Halo comic, or like basically the lore of Halo died with 5. Like they went into isolation. No Nightfall 2 or something with Agent Locke. Like what happened to him, or any building of anything building up to Halo 6. And I think Microsoft they wait too long to upsell their game. Like they wait until the week before, the week before State of K2 to even talk about it. Like, oh, let's wait for June 1st to talk about, May 1st to talk about State of K2. Like, you should be talking about that during Walking Dead. You should be releasing little features. Like, Oh wow, one of the top yeah, I know. They're ambassadors and stuff like that. And you see, Chief, like even online, like you see the people that are still rooting for Microsoft are really like the Xbox ambassadors and stuff. Like it's the extremists that are kind of keeping the lights on now, because I think a lot of the people that just played Xbox because they love the games and the franchises and the features of them, like myself, I'm done. Like I'm just like I'm seeing through their bullshit, and I think everything that comes and even last year they rubbed me such the wrong way with the X that they were talking so much bullshit about it to know that they had no games lined up for it, and they think backwards compatibility was going to save them. I was so excited for backwards compatibility because I thought backwards compatibility was going to be the means of getting new games. Like they were going to use backwards compatibility to promote the next versions of games. Like, and they started doing it. Like they started giving you like the last generation version of the game while they came out with the sequel. And I thought that was the purpose of backwards compatibility, that they were going to use these to fund the new games and do that. But when I started realizing that there were no new games coming out and it was just backwards compatibility games, now I'm like, okay, well, no. I got rid of my 360. I got rid of all those games for a reason, because I thought the next generation was here. And if you want to update them, that's wonderful. But you want to know what? That is prosumer, but it's prosumer if you kept all your old shit. If you didn't keep your old shit, now you're a victim of fucking supply and demand. And go ask GameStop how they like backwards compatibility. As soon as it gets announced, GameStop jacks it up to $20. And Microsoft's not shy in charging you $15 to $20 for the digital version of the game. So as prosumer as it is, it's still a fucking gotcha in the ass. Unless you kept your collection on a fucking wall. I guess if you live in a house by yourself and you can have that collection of 360 games, like I have a couple of them, but I got them all. I got rid of all of them because I played them all. But if you kept them all, that's wonderful for you. Yeah, it is free. That's great. And it is amazing you can put a 360 disc in and let it work. But the problem I have with backwards compatibility is that you can't rely on it. You can't just be like, if Sony drops a fucking Detroit Become Human, you can't have Major Nelson coming on Twitter going, Burnout is backwards compatible. And it's like, all right. Yeah, Sakuma. Shout out to Sakuma. $50 for Blops. Exactly. You're a victim of supply and demand, and Microsoft puts you in that position because they go backwards compatible. So, as prosumer as it is, and I think it's a wonderful thing, I just thought that backwards compatibility was going to be the gateway to getting sequels. That's what I thought. I thought that when they announced that Microsoft was going to use these to kind of boost up the franchises, bring back Conker, bring back these games, bring back these franchises, and give them a resurgence. And instead, they relied on backwards compatibility. And then they doubled down on backwards compatibility with the fucking X. And if it's just an emulator that enhances the games, there shouldn't be just 15, 20 games enhanced Xbox 360 or Xbox original on the X. You pay $500 for a console, they should be throwing those games and emulators 5 a day and spitting them out. But again, it's another way for Microsoft to give you the carrot, to make you just stick around, because that's all they're making us do right now. If you are a diehard Xbox fan and only have the Xbox console, Microsoft is doing everything in their power to get you to stick around. They're holding updates and patches and telling you to wait. We're adding more content. Oh, more things are coming. They're just trying to get you. They're just doing stall tactics right now because they got nothing in the immediate future. All their shit's down the line. And their whole thing is to keep you subscribed to Xbox Live and to get you staying on Game Pass. That's them. That's what they want you to do. And they want you to sit around and just wait for them to figure their shit out. But keep paying for their services, keep buying their controllers, keep buying their console. And that's what they want you to do. But you got to vote with your wallet. Like I have. I'm not investing in them any. I will play their games, but I am not. And that store's atrocious. They still haven't fixed it. Guys, we're 3 years in. What, 4 years? 3 years into Windows 10? Come on. Windows 10 didn't launch last month. 3 fucking years. All right? We're done. Okay? If it's not fixed now, it's not going to be fixed. So if that's going to look like a piece of shit app store, and it's going to look like a mobile app store. Because you want to know why? Mobile is their future. Mobile is where they want to be. They want to be on phones and they want to be on laptops because laptops is part of mobile too. That's why that store looks like a mobile app because they want a mobile future. Go look at Miami Street, a mobile game. All right. I know that's not taken away from Halo development, Miami Streets, but the fact that somebody sat there and said, let's put this game on this system, on PC. Yeah, they want to be Tencent. They want to be a third-party publisher. But they just said, somebody said, let's do this. Instead of somebody, Phil Spencer, whatever, at the head table going, wait a second. We got a thirsty fan base of console owners who just bought consoles. Why are we not giving them any content? And where was Phil Spencer at the table when somebody said, guys, you know, I saw Tron. I like arcades. I think we should make a Dave and Buster's game. Where the fuck was our savior, Phil Spencer, going, yo, the fuck out of here with a console. Like, we have console owners here. The premium customer. We gotta focus on them and give them content. Games take time, but here's a fucking Halo arcade machine. Get the fuck out of here. Games don't take time. Microsoft wasn't focused on you. That's the answer. That's the answer nobody wants to hear. Microsoft don't give a flying fuck about the console owner. That's why you still pay for Xbox Live. They don't care for you. They think that you're going to stand there and stay there and hug your Xbox and love it and do everything while they go poke their dick around everywhere else. And they want that. That's what they want. And they think that you're gullible enough that you're going to sit there and deal with their bullshit. And I say, if you're not satisfied with it, vote with your wallet and complain on Twitter. I don't give a shit. If that's where they're going to do all their marketing, they're not going to do it on TV. Go, let's see how many PlayStation ads there are on TV because Microsoft believes, I think Greenberg even said it. Oh, social media is where we're going to do all our advertisements on YouTube. Like, our campaign is really social media. He said it. If you go back and look at his tweets for State of K2. Yeah, he said it. Like, so if that's where they are and that's where their ears are and stuff, then that's right. Trash the shit out of them on fucking Twitter. Trash them on YouTube. Because if that's what they're going to use for marketing, then they're going to hear us. And they're not going to listen because they got a plan. They're not telling us the whole plan, but they're telling you the plan. They already said there's no success with the Xbox. They see success beyond the Xbox. So why would you still fight for the Xbox? It's not coming back. It's not. And if they surprise me at E3, I'm only left to have big smiles on my face because that Microsoft of old, to get Final Fantasy on stage, to get Kojima out on their stage, to get those games from Sony. Nah, they'll give you the impression that like, oh, well, we got more Japanese developers on there, but all those games are going to be going on PlayStation. Yeah, that's right. State of K, and exactly. They talk the talk, man. They talk about the clouds and they talk about all this stuff. And meanwhile, State of K2 is peer-to-peer. Like, come on. That's what I mean. They're all talk. But you got to look at what's coming out of them. And what's coming out of them sucks and it's compromised. And I think everything that's going to come out of them is compromised. Look at PUBG. Just to get it in game preview, they probably were on their hands and knees begging Bluehole, whatever the hell they were, to go put PUBG on the preview program. And it's not getting, it's like patch 17 right now. But it's in the program. That's the thing. It's in the program. Like they just want it in the program. They could fucking care less that the game doesn't even run worth a damn. But it's in the preview program. They got a developer. Thank goodness. We got a developer to use our preview program. And they milked the shit out of it, bundling a broken game in a fucking console for the holiday. If that is not balls of steel, come on now. Yeah, we're gonna do a plan. We're gonna do a plan Xbox stream conference. I think on Sunday, and then I think we also have State of K2 dev coming the following week. and my questions are going to be like, they better patch in fixing those, what's going on with fixing those doors, because that's a disaster. You know, you got to line yourself up to shut the door, otherwise zombies crawl in there. And it is what it is. That game, those games stayed. Well, Sea of Thieves is different, but State of K2, man, like they weren't supposed to be this pedestal of a game or what it was. It was supposed to be a filler. And it's Microsoft for bad timing. And Microsoft even emphasizing it by putting it in Game Pass and putting it in the same lineup as Crackdown and Sea of Thieves. Like, it's Microsoft's fault. And that's why I blame it on. Like, I'm not hating on devs. I'm not hating on gamers. I'm not even hating on the console, like hardware itself. It's just Microsoft has just since Windows 8 launched, and I was on I got invited to Device Night, saw the Surface Book, and I was a Microsoft insider. I follow all their stuff, like their hardware, and I see their vision of everything connecting and all that other stuff. And just to see how many things have been a letdown with Windows 8, with Groove Music that I subscribe to, with all the things that I drank the Kool-Aid from them and believed in their connected and continuum, and that it turns from a tablet into at all the surfaces. Tablet to a keyboard. Xbox is a Kinect. You could voice challenge it. It'll tell you the weather with Cortana. You can invite your friends with Cortana. Guys, all that stuff, it's gone. It's fade away. HoloLens, now that group's gone. You can't trust them worth the damn. You can't trust them. So I don't trust them in bringing me the games that we need them to bring. And that's where I'm left at. And it's all compromised. Like, it is all compromised. Like, it is compromised. Like, all their games, all their stuff, it's all compromised right now. And I can't trust what's coming out of their mouth. Because everything they say, and you think that this booty, you think that this article is the first of the shit that we're going to see coming out in 2 weeks? Guaranteed. Phil Spencer, those guys, shit that's going to come out of their mouth at E3, the Xbox fan, core fan, is not going to like. Because it's going to be all this bullshit. So at halftime, if it is halftime, but like when you're at work, read this article and tell me. Because Xbox has not been exciting to me. It hasn't. I was sitting there complaining on chat, and like I'll be in party chats going, I was playing NHL because I'm like, all I'm playing is just these games. I'm like, where's the games, Microsoft? What's going on? You know, ever since Gears of War 4, I'm like, yeah, hello. And even my friends, like, we didn't even stay on Gears of War 4. We thought that was it. Like, that'll take us for a few months. I played it for a couple of weeks, and everybody's like, yeah, I'm done. Like, nobody, like my friends I used to play all the time, they're like, we were Gearsed out because Microsoft gave us Gears Ultimate, which we played. Then they gave us Gears 2, Gears 3, Gears Judgment, all backwards compatible. So we played those. By the time Gears 4 came out, it wasn't much different than any of those. And we're like, oh, I'm done with Gears of War. You know, it didn't have the longevity because they just kept throwing backwards compatibility at us. And they kept throwing Ultimate. I had so many fucking codes for Gears of War. You know? And that's the thing. Like, you think this article here that just triggered me, I've come to peace with it. But I just can't understand how you could still cheer for them thinking they're going to make these big deals. Because they're not. And just reading this stuff tells you more and more they are going to, it's boring. All right? And then what I'm going to try to explain to everybody. Yeah, you know what, Dan? I know that everybody, trust me, if you go back, and you know, and thanks, shout out to 17 people. Y'all hit the like button. I can't believe it. You know, unless I'm like your background for what the game is. Tell me what the score is right now because I'm gonna go watch it. But thanks again, for coming out, guys. But what Dan says, if you all you guys go back and just listen to the podcasts and the messaging before E3 last year how the X was going to be the next coming and how the X was going to be the turnaround and the hype for the X. It was called Scorpio at the time. Yeah, I know. I follow Xbox Reddit. It's sad state, man. And know what else is funny? Go look at the Xbox One X Reddit, and there's only like 5,000 people there subscribe to it. You know, the Pro one, I think, is at like 25,000 or 20 or 17 or something like that. But yeah, Xbox Reddit's like, my games don't work. The sound is not working. And know how many issues I had with headphones with the Xbox because they constantly updated that shit and alpha tests and all that other stuff, and they broke stuff that they fixed before. It's a roller coaster ride, and I was done with the roller coaster ride. And when they did PlayStation Days last year, and I just got the PlayStation, I was in their betas, I did their stuff. I'm like, shit, this PlayStation came a long way from the PlayStation 3, and they're doing everything right. Like the fact that Microsoft does not have a share button or a sharing feature directly to Twitter, and still want you to use that bullshit OneDrive, and still doesn't have direct uploading to YouTube. When they have capturing of 4K screenshots, all this 4K bullshit, but there's no efficient way of sharing it. And what was that? Upload Studio is fucking dead. Maybe they announced that. Like, shit, use that for a fucking boring ass Inside Xbox instead of having Escape the Room bullshit. Why do you have an Upload Studio fucking reboot? But the fact that their sharing features are fucking atrocious, and word of mouth and media and Twitter and all that other bullshit that they believe is where everybody is, as Aaron Greenberg stated, they do not have an effective way of sharing those incredible screenshots, the power of the X. They don't have word of mouth. Fuck, Sony with that share button has probably done more word of mouth sales. Like Horizon Zero Dawn and the share button was getting abused. And people couldn't believe that those are screenshots and photo mode. Same thing with Uncharted and with God of War. And now with Detroit. Those screenshots, people do double takes and go, whoa, that's a game? I got to go pick it up. Like, it's so simple. But Microsoft is talking all this bullshit about single player narrative. Games are dead and they're social and all that other stuff. The thing is, if you just make a good fucking game, you don't have to worry about it if it is a multiplayer, if it's a single player. It doesn't matter. As long as the gamer is happy and finds value in the game and it has a story, a compelling story or compelling gameplay like Fortnite, or just if the game is good, everything else falls into line. But Microsoft is working ass backwards. They're talking about how like he says it in this article here, games have become, like he goes right here, games have become much more social. Yeah, with streaming and everything. All the shit that your system is really gimped on, except if you want to do Mixer. But fuck if you want to do YouTube. Your system should be YouTube, Mixer, Twitch. You should have sharing features, editing videos, screen sharing effectively. They had to fucking beta test it and go, oh, well, per the feedback, we're just going to upload directly to Twitter. Yeah, because nobody wants to do a OneDrive. Same thing with like, come on. And then he goes like this. This is quotes, guys. This is not no fanboy fucking lingo here. Games have become more social. We know that the games industry is growing, and that's taking nothing away from what you call the single player narrative cinematic game. But we see a lot of interest from our players in more community driven ongoing franchises. There's your answer, everybody. We're over a year later from when Phil Spencer opened up his fucking bullshit mouth last year about single player games, and now fucking shitty ass booty is saying the same thing. They didn't change. Phil Spencer tried to backtrack that. They didn't change. Probably the only single player game they got talking right now they know is probably Fable. The rest of it is all service-based bullshit. And that's where it is. They want it on Mixer. They care more about Mixer streaming than they care about a good game. That's right, Chief Tommy. You heard it here first. Shitty booty. That's his new name until he changes my mind. His name is Shitty Booty. And I will show that. I'm not hiding that. His name is Shitty Booty. But there he says it a year and a half later. So he and I love how it's phrased, the quote. He basically goes, what you call single player games, but we see interest in community driven franchises, maybe broken ass Sea of Thieves games. That's what we see a lot of interest in. Because, you know, those engagement numbers, everybody wants to see how broken the fucking game is, or everybody wants to know what the fuck this game's about. So Microsoft keeps everybody in the dark until the game releases and they got just $60. And then everybody tunes in on Twitter, on Mixer and stuff to see what the hell the game's about. Oh, and Microsoft says that's engagement. That means people are interested in see what the fucking game's about. That doesn't mean they like your game. That doesn't mean they want to play your game. But there's a whole bunch of goodness in this article from Shitty Booty. So, oh, you know what? That's a Shitty Booty. And we'll see what Shitty Booty does on stage. But he better be bringing games. But I can tell you right now, from this whole thing, I didn't even call him. He could be Shitty Booty or he could be Dirty Ass Booty. Either one. All his stuff. What else did he say? Yeah, here you go. We quote another one. We found it was a benefit across the board. We had great engagement from folks discovering the game in Game Pass, but we also had really encouraging sales both at retail and digital. And it is the case that the exposure and the access within Game Pass created more excitement for the game overall, which helped the top line units. So he called the if everybody remembers the week of Sea of Thieves coming out and the horrible fucking reviews and the damage control, and then State of K, we revisited that damage control. You can call that engagement because of excitement? People, excitement? The game got trashed by reviewers, and the people came out and were trying to damage control it. And then people tuned in to see what the fuck these bad reviews were about. That is not excitement. And the fact is like, oh my God, I can't wait to play. Oh man, really? Oh shit. Is that a halftime, Chief? I don't know if that halftime score. 90-80. Ugh. Fuck. Brian, I only put up another 60 points or something. 51. Oh man, if they lose that series, J.R. Smith's gonna get a fucking he's gonna get a fucking basketball rammed right up his ass. I want to say if they lose the series. This dumbass. They're sending back to the Knicks. But man, yeah, so back to this thing. Oh yeah, oh shit, so it's almost over? Fuck. Let me go check it out. Let me see. Oh shit, he's closing the gap in the third quarter. I'm going to tune it into it. Oh, end of the third. All right, I'm going to tune into the fourth quarter. I don't want to keep you guys, but I appreciate all you guys coming out. Maybe I'll do another rant later on, like in the week, probably. Hit the like button and stuff like that. I could keep talking about this forever. But yeah, I definitely encourage everybody to read the article. I didn't want to just keep reading, keep it posted up here and keep going through it. I didn't know if I was going to hit with any copyrights. I doubt it, but still, it's just I think you should go read it. I put the link in there. I just wanted to pull out a few sentences, but I believe that this is not going to be the first. And the guarantee prediction is that Phil Spencer's going to be saying the same shit over at E3, and it's going to turn heads. And if Crackdown's a no-show at E3, and I said this before, if Crackdown's a no-show at E3, the narrative that it's canceled or that it's done or something like that is going to dominate every interview. Like, that's going to be hey, didn't you see the 15 games we announced on stage? It's like, Crackdown's done, right? That'll just dominate the conversation. But you know what? They care more about the service. And the games are the sacrificial lambs for all that stuff. And that's the sad part. But I want to thank everybody for coming out. Share this video. I know everybody's probably not watching right now, but share it out there. And I'm almost at 100 subscribers, which is crazy. But I want to thank you all again. And hashtag shitty booty or hashtag dirty ass booty. But yeah, this article made me feel a little about shitty booty. So thanks again, everybody. I'll talk to you soon. And follow me over on Twitter and follow this channel. And I'll be coming out. Try to come out with this content about once a week, a couple times a week. And E3, I'm probably gonna be ranting all the time. But it is what it is. And this has been another What Grinds My Gears. And this is Jez7780 signing out. Thanks again. Talk to you soon.